Why do so many Tekken players dislike Akuma?
Uh, well, basically, he's the top tier, right? And the way this game is, there's a lot of unfair stuff, and who's the most unfair is gonna win, and that's Akuma. But yeah, it's the top tier, and every game is hated. You know, people hate Luke in Street Fighter Five. People hated Akuma when he was top in Street Fighter Five, and you know, it's every game. He's the best character. So
Okay. So I guess what kind of gameplay do traditional Tekken players expect, and how does Akuma seem to violate that for them?
I think it's different for everybody. Like one thing that bothers people is he has 10 frame launchers with meter. Like that is not anything that's seen. Normally it's 13 frames, but even that's usually very, very hard to execute. Yeah, so I can make the risk reward really completely different against Akuma. Like you can't just throw out a launcher like a hop kick, because normally you would get a little bit of damage. I will retaliate with a combo. You're trying to combo me, it doesn't work, you get a combo. It's not worth it anymore. So the risk reward is completely skewed. There's the fact that he jumps around. He has two ways to move that other characters don't have. There's plenty of characters that go under stuff. There's not a lot of characters that go over stuff, right? To me, it's kind of the same kind of thing, except I do a lot more damage when I hit you. But I don't think the jumping is really the issue. It's more the reward that I get from the jumping. But it's everyone, it's different. There's also the low launchers. You know, low launchers are very hard to deal with. Fast counter hits. I mean, there's a lot of things, but also the fact that he's a guest. You know, people are kind of xenophobic in that way. I guess they don't like that he's a guest. I think he would be less hated, probably still hated, but less hated if he was just a brand new Tekken character. Like if basically Eliza was like this and we never saw Akuma, people would complain, but less. Because right now they feel like they're justified. Like, oh, he's got nothing to do in Tekken. I mean, yeah, but it's been 6 years. Get over it. I mean, like.
Well said. And tell us how you really feel.
I mean, that's how I really feel. Like, you just get. It's a 6-year-old game. There's trailers for Tekken 8 already. Like, just move on. Like the first few years of the game, like it's worth complaining. Things are gonna change.
Yeah.
Listen, let the game be over. You know, Tekken 10 was a good time. Maybe you didn't have a good time when you faced Akuma, but let me remind you, no one plays Akuma. So most people complaining about Akuma have never even played against a good Akuma.
Yeah. Actually, that leads me to a question. So I guess yeah, if Akuma is considered so good, right? So why don't we see top eights with like 5 Akumas? Why aren't there more Akuma players with Akumas? I mean, there is a decent amount. There's, you know, especially like Pakistan has their Akuma crew there, but it's not like the character you just see like so much when you go online. Why do you think that is?
I think partly because he's so difficult, and not everyone has bought a hitbox yet. You know how it is. I got to do my shilling, but yeah. He's just very difficult in execution. The game plan seems easy, but at high level, and really only at high level, it's not as easy to do. He can take risks. People struggle with meter management when they come from Tekken. Even people with execution, they don't know how to manage the resources. There's other things to think about. And like he's a gimmick character, right? It's kind of like Lei, Warong, Ling, whatever, right? If you're not into the gimmick, then you can't really play the character. Like he's got decent fundamentals, like just a generic down forward one. The frames on it are bad, but like he's got some like normal Tekken tools, but he is a gimmick character. So if you're not into the gimmick, you can't play him. He's niche.
Like that, he's niche. Okay. So I remember so you had this kind of, you were talking with Ru Kang and you were mentioning a lot of things. Well, I mean, like, yeah, Akuma has all these crazy things that you're talking about,
Yeah.
but I guess people don't think about what, you know, these OP characters don't have, right? These like top tier characters don't have. So what are some downsides of Akuma? I mean,
Downsides of Akuma are he's got really bad frames on his pokes, which is completely normal because if he had good frames, then his counter hit game would be. It's already kind of too good, but it would be completely ridiculous. So being -4 on down forward one is a lot, right? He's basically -4, -5 on everything, and it means that to press your advantage, you have to do it because your opponent fears some moves that are even more unsafe. Because you can DP after stuff, you can backsway power crush out of stuff, and he has option to like cheat his turn back. But if you look at the numbers, it shouldn't be his turn. That's also a thing that's very frustrating when fighting him. But one of his weaknesses is you kind of either have to hold the block or go for something super risky. You have options that beat stuff that other characters can't beat, but there's a huge risk attached. But if you got the read, you got the read. It is what it is.
Nice. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about I guess the down three, the famous,
the infamous down three.
Down three. I mean,
Yeah.
so that's what makes that so special compared to like other powerful lows like a hell sweep or any kind of unseeable low. What's special about the down three?
One thing that's special about the down three is let me think about it. There's a few things, but it's kind of annoying to explain. The thing is, since his gameplay is built around lows, like you kind of have to play his kind of mini game. Like I was saying, it's like gimmick characters. When you play against them, you kind of have to play into the gimmick a little bit, right? You can't just pretend the Ling isn't an AOP. You have to do what beats AOP, and Akuma is built around having great lows and not so good mids, right? He's got good mids, but it's the lows that are the real problem. So you have to duck more. And in 2D games, most of your time blocking is crouching, and you only get up for overheads. But in Tekken, it's the opposite, where you're standing, and it's the lows where you make the read and duck, or react and duck. But since he has an unseeable, it's like having an unseeable overhead that launches, kinda, I guess. Except, it needs a clean hit, it needs meter, it needs a lot of things to actually work. But it's difficult to beat because it high crushes.
Yeah.
If they block and I use meter, I'm also plus on block.
Yeah.
The thing that people always ignore is there's meter management. Me losing my meter for being plus on block is still a net loss for me. If I do down 3 harder and I don't have another meter, I can't do the mix up again. Whereas a character, like a traditional Tekken character, if they mess up and it's something that's safe, well, you can just try again. Like just, find another opening and do it. Me, I gotta build back up. If I lost my opportunity, I lost my opportunity, which is one of the downsides of playing him. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's more upsides than downsides. So that is a big one, is if it doesn't go through, you don't get another opportunity for a while.
Yeah. So do you think that might be indicative of kind of a misunderstanding of like what a 2D character is? Because it seems like people just see how powerful that down 3 is.
Yeah.
But is it really that powerful without the meter, right? So is that maybe people are just thinking of, well, you can just do this all the time, but the truth is you can't, maybe because they don't see it from that perspective. Do you feel that there's kind of like that?
Yeah, the issue is except for like, I guess, some rage mechanics and stuff, when you evaluate a Tekken character, you always evaluate it at his max. Someone who can do all the execution stuff, and you don't really have to think about meter because the character's going to be this good the whole time. When people talk about Akuma, go, oh, he can do this, he can do that. Yes, it's messed up, but he can't do it all the time. And that's part of how it's balanced. Again, still very good, not downplaying, but you don't have access to like kind of Shin Akuma the whole time. Right, you have to pick your moments.
Yeah,
it's just those moments are very rewarding.
Yeah. I guess can you go a little bit about like the one jab? I mean, he's got the standing 10 frame launcher, and then he's got the crouching.
Yeah,
11 frame, or the one is 2.
That's still 10.
Oh, that's still 10. Oh.
The one that's guaranteed without the counter hit. Because down 1-2 is counter hit. Down 2 is 12.
Yeah, down to 12. That's right. That's right. I guess just they're all kind of similar. Like his jabs can lead into stuff that other characters' jabs
Yeah,
can't.
his jabs can lead into stuff that other characters can. His down jab leads into stuff that you can't do. Because normally, most Tekken characters, they don't have a follow-up to their down jab. Down jab is just like a good keep-out tool, but they're not entirely out of the situation. They kind of just stop the pressure, and they maybe have a chance to retaliate because they get frame advantage. Some characters have like follow-ups. Like Leroy's got a decent counter at down jab, Armor King, Nina, but it's nothing amazing. You're not supposed to get a lot. But the 2Ds, they can, like, it's not just keep out. Like it's basically a counter hit from what's normally a very tame generic tool.
Yeah.
And also I think one of the issues that people have struggled to wrap their head around is people think it's canceling as, oh, it's 2D, it's difficult, but it's dumb, it's whatever. But really, like it's basically like continuing a string in Tekken. Characters have strings, right? Like Asuka, like 3 hit, 5 hit, like 10 hit strings, whatever, right? Canceling is just like extending a string. Like it's not really anything more than that, but people always act like it is. The fact that I can cancel into some pretty dumb stuff, sure, you can complain about that if you want, but people say, oh, being able to cancel is dumb. No, it's just finishing a string. That's all it is.
Yeah, it just seems like, yeah, it's people are just like, oh, that's from King of Fighters and Street Fighters. So
Yeah, they don't want to learn. They don't want to. They're like, this is foreign. I don't like foreigners, and there you go. That's what they're saying. But that's pretty common nowadays, unfortunately.
Fighting game bigotry, right?
Fighting game bigotry.
All right. Okay, this is great. So I guess you had a salt story. I don't know.
I've had plenty. Yes.
Can you give me your best salt story?
Best salt story for me being salty or people being salty against me?
People being salty against you.
Oh, people being salty against me. There's been a few. There's the example Rukang gave you yesterday, which is Bonus Jin almost wanted to fight me after he lost because we did a team. I think first came the tournament and I beat him in the tournament, and the next. No, I must have been afterwards. But yeah, before that, there was a team tournament. It was me and Tishamon as a team. Pretty good team, right? And he beat Tishamon. This was like 2017, early 2018, something like that, right? So you didn't beat Tishamon back in the day, but he did. And then he lost to me, relatively new to the scene. And he was not happy. And he was like, oh, without your character, you're nothing, blah, blah, blah. He has since apologized for that, but at the time, there was like a big crowd of people around us. And I was just saying, like, pick another character, I'll beat you too. Like, I can play this game. You've seen me play this game before. I will beat you. But it didn't come down to that. He was too salty. And it is what it is. Right. There's also Crossfire. Anything Crossfire has ever said, pretty much. Shout outs Crossfire. Like, he was like, oh, play me. I played him. It was 10, I think 10-4. Then the week after, he's like, no, play me again. I want my revenge. I labbed some stuff. 10-1. And then he challenges me months later. He said, you got 10-1 last time. Why are you still talking about my character? I said, oh, I learned the matchup now. Oh, you learned the matchup 5 years after the game came out. Yeah, sure. And then we had some beef on Twitter, and he was like, listen, while you were in the lab playing your heart out all the time. And I was like, all I replied is, I've been in a committed relationship for 7 years. Like, you gotta be, and I've hit the lab, right? So I told him just,
lifer.
Yeah, I just said, just be a better person, right? And the thing is, he says that, I have seen him do like 12-hour sessions with his mates. This guy plays. And he's like, oh, you're a no-life. This guy plays. Right. Yeah, but there's been a few. There's been too many. Too many.
Like every fighting game has like a weirdo, like Dawson.
Yeah.
Who has limbs like that in Street Fighter? It's just Dawson, right?
Yeah.
Or, so what? Maybe this is too deep a question, but I guess what role do unorthodox characters play in fighting games? And do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing?
That's a whole video and one question.
Cool thing, but yeah.
But I like it. Like, I think a variety is, the spice of life, right? If everything was the same, we'd still be playing Street Fighter 1 where it's just a mirror between Ryu and Ken with the same move list. And you know what? That's not a fun game. You can say what you want about Street Fighter 2. I don't think that's a fun game either, but it's a lot more fun than Street Fighter 1, right? just balance and seeing the same stuff is it's not fun. Unorthodox means we get a wider array of exploration of the system that's built. I play fighting games for the mechanics, right? I don't care about the Mishimas throwing each other off cliffs, right? It's a cool story, but I like the game mechanically, and anything that moves outside of those mechanics for me is very interesting. I like, fundamental based characters like Kasumi, Shaheen, stuff like that. I really enjoy playing those, but I like going around. I like to see how I can cheat the system still with tools that the devs gave me. And it's just an interesting way to see things differently through the game. Because like Akuma, a lot of stuff that Akuma's doing, people would never have imagined it. A lot of people wish they never had to, but for me, it's wow. Now that we've seen it, it's crazy how a character like this can fit in the game so well. And many would argue against that, but people say, "Oh, Warung's shouldn't be in the game. Or Paul shouldn't be in the game. Ling shouldn't be in the game." People complain about everything that's different. If it's not their character, and if they lose to it. Even if sometimes they win to it, it's frustrating playing in something that's different.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just, that's the game. Variety. So big game.
I guess that made me think of another question on the other end. You played the weird, unorthodox character, but I guess how do you feel when you play like traditional characters? Do you have like...
I feel good. I feel I like it. So one of the fastest TGPs I ever got was Kasumi, and that's in season 4 when she was like well nerfed. Like, it's just one of the fastest characters I climbed. Like, I got fundamentals. I can play Tekken despite what a lot of people think, right? I've been playing Tekken since I was 5 years old. This is the game I like. Mechanically, I am a Tekken player. I've never been a Street Fighter player. The rumors should stop. I didn't come from Street Fighter into Tekken. That's not me. That was Punko, right? I'm a Tekken player. I like Tekken. When I play a more traditional character, I still have fun. Because that's